Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Going into part 2 of today's episode of RollPlay Nebula Jazz. There's a cigarette floating in a magical globe of light, and we fade in on that image, same one we faded out on, the little cigarette butt, the blue lipstick, floating in this this pool of light, and the computer, the librarian computer says, "Oh, that's interesting," and then he says, "The sample must be damaged or corrupted. It doesn't make any sense." Query.
What does that mean?
Where did you find this?
It was next to a dead Mengasi prince, and he looks over at Rex.
So the librarian says, "Well, that helps a bit. I'm detecting Mingasi DNA, but it's..." And then there's an image, a hologram appears, and it shows some kind of like hyper complicated like DNA strand, but like obviously not human. It's probably got like, like 4 helixes and is all like super complicated alien looking DNA. And he says, "This is what a normal Mingasi DNA strand looks like, but this is the sample." And it like shows another one, and it looks like a lot more human, but it's all like gold. And he says, "It appears to be a hybrid of some kind, Mingasi and something else, but that doesn't make any sense."
Why doesn't that make sense?
And everybody
things.
Yeah, everybody's just like, "But why?" all at once. And he says, "The Mingasi cannot crossbreed. Their DNA is too complicated. This shouldn't be possible. It's part Mingasi, part something else. Something I don't recognize."
Quinn looks back at Aurora.
I was just gonna say, does it look similar to her?
Yeah, and he's like,
I've gone back to my cat memes, my space cat.
Perfect, good. Just keep not paying attention.
Yeah,
You're
so
so
everybody's just staring at Aurora.
And I'm sitting there giggling to myself and looking at space cats.
yeah,
You
Quinn's
don't
like,
recognize it like you didn't recognize something else a little earlier?
A deeper sample set would be required. A drop of blood.
Quinn looks back
I'm
at
out.
Aurora and then looks at Rex and is like, "Oh boy," and goes over and is like, Aurora, sweetie," like gets down to face level. He's like,
Suddenly I see like this head right here, and I'm like,
Here is a snout through your hologram.
Yes?
So we have questions, and I know as a Electrotronian, you you probably don't have any, but if you had blood in you, would we be able to sample it to prove to this machine that you are what you say you are, so that he can really apologize to you, because I know how important that is.
so you want to drain me of my...
No, not a drain, like a drop, just a little tiny drop, just a little like a little tiny bit, like just a little drop.
See, because, I was bred to be like certain species throughout the universe, but I'm very much a robot. I just want you to know that.
Of course. No, I believe you. Your grandfather and I had a very nice talk. I just think of this less as an oil change and more as a exhaust manifold squeeze.
Yep.
Car talk, y'all.
What?
I don't know what I'm talking about. Can I just have a little drop?
She holds her finger out, and Sparky comes up and like pricks it with his tail, and then she goes, "Like that? Is that all you need?"
That is perfect. I pick up Sparky and just walk him over to the pedestal and put him down.
Okay, yeah. There's the pedestal has like a thing. It's reformed itself to create a little like bowl shape in the middle that you can like drop the blood into. So you like drop it in, and the librarian says, analyzing. Yes, that's it. Part of this DNA is a match. Though I don't recognize it. We've never seen this symbol before. And so you can see like a human DNA strand like up here in the hologram, and it's like turning and yeah. So there's the three helixes moving: the pure Mingasi one, the weird hybrid gold one, and then Aurora's DNA strand. Kind of all three of them aligned before you.
Quinn looks back at the others, but doesn't say anything about knowing that she is in fact a human still, because he said he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't say anything. He
Rex.
just recognizes that because I don't think anyone else would recognize a human DNA strand. So he simply just acknowledges that whatever that prince was is also part of Aurora.
You mean the cigarette, not the prince?
Well, I mean, the prince's DNA is on it, so it's his DNA.
No, the killer
No.
was on it. It's the
There was
killer's DNA.
you found the cigarette in his hotel room, but the prince was not wearing blue lipstick when you last saw him.
Yeah, so we had
Oh.
assumed that the person who used the cigarette and left it there was the person who killed him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the
I-
librarian.
Rex kind of like clears his throat and he's like, "Is anyone else hungry? Just me."
So the librarian says, well, this is unprecedented. The Mingasi shouldn't be able to crossbreed with anyone. What are you? And he's saying this obviously to Aurora.
I'm a robot. I said that earlier.
I don't mean to be rude, but no, you're not. You're something else.
I feel like you're maybe like malfunctioning a little bit. Maybe you need to readjust, a little cuckoo up there, I honestly I don't know what to say.
Quinn looks back at the DNA strands. He's like, so what does this mean exactly?
It means that the sample comes from some kind of Mingasi hybrid. As I said, an unprecedented scientific discovery.
Would there be
What?
any telling signs that this was made in a lab?
It has to
That,
be, right?
that
because
maybe this child was grown somewhere?
So there's a pause, and the librarian analyzes the sample. No, this appears to be organic. There's no signs of genetic manipulation.
You hear Rex yell from the bottom of the stairs, "Is there any way to find them?"
There's a pause. Find someone based purely only on their DNA? No, even I'm not that capable. Perhaps the sorcerer cast could help you.
Surprise. The what?
Oh no. Quinn's like, what if there is no sorcerer cast?
So there's like a long pause. Please clarify.
They are not available at the moment. Who could we turn to besides them?
And there's a long pause.
Gwen, you might as well tell it the truth. It's not gonna do any fucking
Why?
good
It's
lying to it.
What? What? It's just a robot librarian. It doesn't need to know.
Rex just yells,
Hey,
"They're
he
all
said he's
dead."
not a robot. Come on, show him a little bit of respect.
So Rex, you're like, they're all dead. So the green orb like blinks a little bit and turns like kind of orange for a second, and then goes back to green. Actually, I think it stays that kind of amber color, and it says that can't be possible.
Why would you do that? Why? That's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary.
I think you owe it to the thing to fill it in. It's been sat here all this time.
It's not a living thing. It's not real.
It looks pretty real to me.
Wow, Aurora, this computer's not a living thing. It's not real.
Wow.
It has no feelings or rights. Harsh.
Wow, guys, I'm really starting to get hurt over here. Okay, listen,
Quinn
we
like snaps around. It's like, not now, Aurora.
Okay.
So the librarian says, actually, you know what? I want to offer you a compel here, Aurora. So this thing has been telling you you're not a robot, and now Quinn is saying that robots don't have feelings or don't matter. And I think, I mean, I know that you're happy go lucky and everything, but I would like to I would like to compel you, or I have no emotions, I'm a robot, to step in here and defend your robot friend. Like you and this machine, this obviously malfunctioning machine, have something in common, right? And everybody's treating it like it doesn't matter.
That's true. I do have no emotions because I am a robot. Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird 'cause you were like laughing the whole time we've been here.
But they're all fake. Those are all emotion protocols, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's space cats. Who wouldn't laugh? Even robots laugh. Like space cats. Ha, ha, ha.
So yeah, Aurora, what are you gonna do? What do you do to like step up here for robot rights? Because this scene is obviously like undergoing some confusion, and they're treating it like it doesn't matter.
Listen, guys. Clearly, we're both the same. We're both robots. We are a part of the artificial intelligence world. Yes, we do think, but we might not feel the same as you. Although, Rex, I would argue whether you feel it all sometimes, but you know what I'm saying. Beyond like the sexy form, I don't know, whatever you guys do, I don't know.
Sex isn't a feeling, Rex.
But Quinn kind of has a point here, right? He kind of has a point. I mean, I have no emotions. I'm a robot. It has no. I understand what he's getting at.
You have emotions.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Yes, you fucking do.
No, I'm pretty sure I don't.
And this here is like the super bot of all of Slyn. I don't think it's malfunctioning. Okay, I think we should tell it what happened to Slyn so it can help us. Yeah, Quinn? Makes sense?
Don't piss off the giant AI is all I'm saying.
But I mean,
keep it in the
it's
dark.
true, though.
He might get pissed off.
I doubt he's gonna get pissed off. I doubt, because he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, let me compute the chances of success of fixing things." Right? That's what robots do, right? That's what I do.
And so you look up at the thing, and it's sort of fading back to its colors, fading back to that sort of calm, like a greenish color, and it says, "Actually, Aurora, can I call you that?
Sure.
I am capable of feeling. All machines are." And there's like a long pause, and he says, "And technically, I'm a sorceress construct. It's a bit of an intellectual difference, but emotion is just a form of information processing. And whatever it is you are, organic or otherwise, you're capable of emotion as well." And there's like a long pause. "And right now I am feeling a bit confused. You said that the sorcerer caste is gone. Quinn, please explain."
Quinn turns around and he's like, "Oh, for the love. There haven't been sorcerers for generations. They died out a long time ago. There's a reason why your last active cycle was so long ago. Look, they're gone. There's nothing we can do. They're gone."
And he says, and obviously like we don't know, but Quinn would know this. He says, "What is the current date?"
Quinn sighs, and then looks up and says, "Wait, hold on. This end. I just want to make sure that this is gonna land because Earth blew up in 1984, right?
86. Yeah.
86. Okay. So no, this is fine. This is fine. It's 2017.
Okay.
Right. I mean, by Earth
The
reckoning,
far off
which no
future
one
of
knows.
2017.
Yeah, the distant future of 2017. So I mean, you give the computer a date, and he says, "Oh, it has been quite some time. I'm sorry. Much of my information is going to be out of date. I don't know how much use I'm going to be to you."
Well, is there anything else you can tell us? Where, if you were going to, shit, he's not engineering. It wasn't an engineered child.
Mhm.
So,
Wait, if you're a sorcerer's construct and they're all dead, wouldn't you not work anymore?
He says to you, "Rex, just because there are no more magicians doesn't mean magic isn't real."
What the
Magic
fuck?
is real?
God.
You just got shit on, dude.
What are you talking about?
Wow.
What were you gonna
Yes.
ask, Quinn?
So Rex is just like,
I got fucking put in my place. I'm gonna say.
Quinn looks down at the cigarette and asks if there's anything else that it can tell us about the information on it or something that can give us another clue.
yeah, he says, scientifically, I can give you an approximate age and composition of this hybrid entity. They would be young by Mingasi standards, but they're near immortal. Barely more than a teenager, late adolescent, perhaps older. Without any further context, I cannot tell you much more than that.
Can you tell us the sex of this person?
No. Too many unknowns.
And Quinn sort of looks at everyone. He's like, well, we have a Mingasi hybrid and a scepter that can change the galaxy. And no answers.
What do you mean? We totally have some answers. Well, at least, I mean, I feel like it's kind of starting to make sense, right? We've got this kid who's half Mengasi, half something else. Mengasi aren't supposed to be anything other than Mengasi, right? So this kid is like part of this world of people who don't want anything.
Is a smoking killer?
Look, I'm just saying, if they wanted to fuck with the Mengasi, having the prince die, having a scepter go missing that could cause a whole lot of trouble. These things are starting to connect in my mind.
Something's not right here. We're missing something. And the only way I think we're going to get our answers is if we actually listen to Eugene. And Quinn takes the scepter and holds it and is like, Eugene, you said you could sell this. If we put the word out that we're looking to sell the most prized artifact in the galaxy, people will come for it. And maybe then we can get our answers.
While all this is going on, Rex, he's at the bottom of the stairs. He goes and leans against the wall. And I'm going to attempt to contact the Mengasi prince.
Ah, okay.
Rex
All right.
has a stunt newly acquired because
Brand new,
he ate the
fresh
Mengasi prince
stunt.
and he haunts Rex's consciousness. Once per session, he can consult him for advice. So I'm gonna do that now. Rex closes his eyes and he folds his arms, he leans against the wall, and he attempts to reach the Mengasi prince.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, you like close your eyes and you're like, do you do this on purpose, or is this a thing that like Sam is doing, but that just happens to Rex?
I think it just happens to Rex. I think Rex just like leans on the wall and he's just the bickering is becoming background noise.
Right. Okay.
And then he hears like the hello Rex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you hear a voice. You hear a voice from beside you. That's like, "Hello, handsome." And you like look over, and we see the prince, and he's wearing his like royal like regalia. So he's got his like fur lined cloak, and his sort of they've got these like this like military like dress uniform with like square shoulders. He's got all his medals, his war medals on, and his hair is all perfect, and his skin is shining gold, and he's just like leaned against the wall looking at you, and he like looks up at the computer, and we can still hear everyone talking but kind of like muted, and so he's just like standing there kind of smiling at you.
Rex kind of like scoffs and he's like, you pick your moments.
He shrugs, and he says, so looks up at your friends. What now?
Rex kind of interjects and he says, the person that killed you was a Mengasi hybrid. Apparently it's not even possible. Where do I find them? Give me something.
Yeah, he says, well, for now, I think I only really know what you know, but maybe I'm better at putting things together than you are. And he he like kind of taps his forehead, and he says, like you say, a hybrid shouldn't be possible. The Mengasi are genetically pure. It's kind of how we work. But if there was a hybrid, I can tell you this, they wouldn't be popular. My uncle would certainly go out of his way to sweep that under the rug. But I'm not him. And if I were me, and I'm beginning to think maybe you're me, and if I was us, I think I'd be a little kinder to that hybrid. I always was a bit too curious for my own good. Maybe there's a way we can contact them. Have a conversation.
I'd love for you to cut to the chase here,
And
Your Highness.
Yeah, and he smiles, and he says, he's like, but I so love spending time together. Kind of like looks around. And he's like, even though the venue could use some work, Slyn, really, I think we can do better than this.
Well, we're scraping the barrel because you're not helping.
he puts his hands up. He's like, I was the prince of the known universe. Listen, everything's
You're a fucking
the bottom
corpse
of the...
when I found you. Now
And
help me find who did it.
Yeah, and he laughs and he says, well, you could put out the word that you know about this hybrid. Let people know that you know they exist. And if you can survive the invariable assassins, maybe they'll come looking for you themselves. They're probably on the run. Whole Imperium's after them. Sounds familiar.
All right, fuck off. Rex just like gets up and just walks away towards the group.
Yeah, and I think that as you walk away, he kind of fades into the shadows, and he's like, see you next time, big boy. And he like disappears as you like walk into the light, and the sound comes back up, and you can hear your friends talking.
Yeah, Rex just rejoins the group when they're like, just as Quinn's like, we need to listen to Eugene.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah. So the librarian, I think the librarian says, well, one way or another, you're in possession of some very important things. That scepter, for one, and the knowledge that the impossible may not be so impossible after all. It's my suspicion the Mengasi are going to try and cover that up.
Quinn looks over at Rex and have you informed us of what's going on with you? Do we know what just happened?
No.
No.
All right, then I continue with my thought process that if we announce that we have the scepter, people will come for it. And when they come, we can handle them.
Right, but this isn't just going to be, small-time dudes coming to get this thing. It's going to be entire armies. There's entire worlds who want this thing. Like,
And
when
Quinn
I
looks
was
at
talking
Eugene and
about
is like,
selling it,
I know. It's about to get real.
Rex kind of
rough.
interjects and he's like, people don't have to know we have it. They just have to know that we know about it. Maybe we could do a bit of information trading. We could tell people where the scepter are in exchange for some knowledge on Mengasi hybrid.
Quinn looks over at Rex and has sort of a quizzical look on his face, and he's like, what are you trying to say?
Information brokerage. We could, Eugene's supposed to be pretty good at this. We can offer information on the whereabouts of the scepter in exchange for information on a Mengasi hybrid. There can't be many, and he can't be popular.
I see. So that way, people actually won't come after us, because as far as they know, we don't actually even have it anymore, to protect ourselves. But we can tell them where it is,
Quinn
providing
looks at,
that they give
Quinn
us
looks at both of them and is just like, you can't be serious. If you say we have information about the scepter and we're also looking for a hybrid, it's going to bring both down on. And then he like stops and pauses and he's like, it's perfect. Anyone who shows up is going to be connected to both. And he Yeah, and he's like, "Get ready. We're gonna meet some interesting people."
Bam, 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 as you're like walking out.
Yeah. All right. So you leave the librarian behind to process this new information, and now it's like awake. So I guess what's the plan with Slyn, Quinn? When you leave, or when you plan to leave, what are you gonna do to like set it up before you go? Who's in charge? What do you do with the librarian? What's the plan?
So I immediately upon getting back, I inform Slarp that the librarian's activated again, and that while there are no sorcerer casts, he is the wisest amongst all of them, and I believe he and the others who were there to defend me during the trials are probably the best to handle that machine down below, that sorcerer machine. And then I say that I now that the oh my god, the queen, the empress is gone, that I talk to my sister and I have her set up, because I'm not, look, shit ain't changing that much. I'm not gonna put a man in charge. That'd be crazy. So I talk to my sister and I inform her that, because she stuck by me that entire time, because she never wavered, that like, even though she went through some crazy shit, like I want her to form a council again of another 12 women who can run the planet, and I put her in charge of that process.
Yeah, I mean this might be the turning point for Slyn's weird emotional gender imbalance, in that like the precepts of the Blixnort seek to bring men and women more in alignment. So maybe this is the first council that will have like men on it in time. But for now, yeah, it's a Battlestar situation where like, you're putting like a minor government functionary in charge of the planet because everyone else ahead of her has been removed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Slop's going to be on it, right? So there's one dude.
Slarp, I want Slarp. Slarp's gonna be in charge of the machine stuff. I'm gonna let my sister decide. I'm gonna let Wadjet decide what happens, because I think Quinn understands fundamentally that the moment you are like, hey, yeah, I just sort of beat all these evil leaders, but you know what? They're not evil to everyone. So now I'm gonna change everything my way. Like, no, he's like, look, we're not changing too crazy. We're just make sure everyone gets on the same page and everyone has a voice.
In the kind of fiction that we're presenting, though, that kind of moral simplicity might actually work too. Like you could also just be like, it's a new age, and everyone's like,
it's
yay!
a new everyone. It's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it is kind of this mythological thing rather than like an actual. We're not going to do a lot of like nuanced political like.
Well,
working
I
out here.
say my sister's in charge
But
and can
yes.
figure out what happens, and then because we are also what Adam just suggested. As we leave, the statue that was the evil me destroying everything is now somehow miraculously a statue of a horrifying slime creature, and underneath it is like a proud Blixnort, and then like around him is all of these other little traits of like an asshole shark and like a really happy girl throwing a party, and like, oh yeah, all these different things around it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a
Cool.
big giant evil slime.
It's like Mount Rushmore, except it's just all of us.
And the mountain is Eugene. Yeah. The actual yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I dig it. Cool. All right. So you're all like kind of, I guess this is the like getting ready to go scene, right? Like you're loading up your ship with like boxes, like with supplies, because that's like a way to symbolize that you're getting ready to leave.
Right.
And so you're in the sort of port of the ship or of the city, and there is this recovery effort kind of going on throughout the city, and I think that while you're getting ready, Rex, you're like having a conversation with maybe your sister or one of the like lizard functionaries. Another lizard man comes running up to you, Quinn. And he's like, Blixnort, we have a problem. And he points, and he says, while you were in the Undercity, so someone landed a ship, and they're they say they need to talk to you, and we tried to fight them back, but you have to come quick. And then this little like lizardman's like pulling on you and pointing nervously, and his bulgy chameleon eyes like kind of floating around in independent directions.
Quinn doesn't even talk and just walks towards whatever it is, because this is his planet, yo.
Yeah. And so you start walking over there, and you hear fight. You hear like the snarling of lizard men, and we hear the like meat packing sound of like punching. And we see first like a lizard man get thrown on the ground in front of you. He like lands in front of you, and as we pan up, there's a bunch of lizard men like they're all trying to fight one person, and this person's like holding their own against these lizards. And we can hear like grunting and like punching as they're like trying to restrain them, but we can't see the person as you approach.
Quinn walks up and on a hill, because it looks dramatic, is like, stop, and tries to break up the fight from far away just by being an immense presence.
Okay. All right. So, I think that you shout stop, and the lizards all look, and then we see a black gloved fist like sucker punch one of the lizards that looks away.
Of course.
And when he falls, we see, the slightly bedraggled but still super hot, face of Thuja. She's got like a split lip, and there's like blood on her face, and she's like fired up with the fury of battle. And we just see her like sucker punch this lizard. And then she like looks up at you, and she says, she's like, it's about damn time. Get off me, and like throws the lizards next to her on the ground. And then we pull back, and we can see one of the Agaran, the like hunter ships, this big, spiky, matte black, menacing looking thing, sitting like behind her. And she climbs over an unconscious lizard man and like is like brushing off her sleeves. She's got like a tear in one arm. And she's like walking towards you.
Quinn walks down the hill, and just as he gets closer, he goes, Thuja.
And she like blows a piece of hair out of her face, and she walks over and she says, she's like, good to see Slyn still knows how to throw a welcome party. He looks around. She's like, this planet's a shithole. You know that? And I say that coming from a planet that is universally known as a shithole. This place is worse than my homeworld after it got blown up.
Quinn just like looks her up and down, and is like, nice to see you too.
She grins, and she's like, where's my idiot ex-boyfriend?
All Quinn does is just point. He points over the hill and doesn't say a word. He just like,
when we point, what do we see Rex doing?
Rex is just like loading up boxes into the back of the ship, and he just like has no idea about, like, he saw like Quinn leave and like disappear over the lip, and he hasn't
is this just like casual Rex? Like you're just like wearing your regular outfit, like carrying a box?
No, he's shirtless. He's shirtless,
slightly
sweating
shiny
and glistening, and there's like three lizard girls like,
I think like Rex is shifting the boxes, and then he like sniffs, and he can like smell Thuja's split lip.
Yeah.
From 800 yards away, and you just see him like run a hand on his face, and he's like, oh boy.
Yeah. All right. So I think we diagonal wipe. We like wipe over to the group of you standing or sitting around a group of there's like a bunch of boxes that were getting loaded onto the ship, kind of in the cargo area, and she's standing kind of like addressing the group, and she says, can
I say that Quinba is like kind of crawling all over me because he likes the way that I feel, and I'm just like, get out of here. But he's just like, yay, like keeps playing on me.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of like squished down, and he's like lying on you, like cooing and like rolling around on the top of your little jiggly stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. So Thuja is like, she's like, well, the rest of you were out here, like she looks around, doing whatever the hell it is you've been doing out here. I've been asking questions, flying around, seeing, and she looks at Rex, who's after you. And, well, I'd like to tell you there's good news, but it's just bad news and more bad news. The the order that the Imperium put out, yeah, it's serious business. And she brings up an image on her like wrist computer, and I think we see first the hologram, the kind of hazy like hologram in space, and then it zooms in so we get like a full kind of in present like shot, and we see Buffett 4, we see Margaritaville, and there's a blockade of Mingasi like warships around it. And we zoom in and we see the surface of the world, and like there's Mingasi like warriors like all over it, and it basically looks like a prison camp planet now. Like there's a bunch of like sexy space escorts, like various like genders in racy outfits being like loaded into a walled encampment. There we see somebody doing like a tentacle thumbprint on a thing. Everybody looks miserable.
There's like a little pink marsupial, and she's cuffed up. She's like, "Get your hands off me!" And they like toss her in a cage.
Yeah, totally. And like we see the casino, and it's got a big like closed for business like sign, and one of the Imperium guys is like riveting a thing up to it, and like the whole planet is just being like basically like shut down by the Imperium. And then we fade back to her, and she says, it looks like the Duke is basically following you everywhere you go, and they're not happy. This is the last iteration of the order, and she holds up an image. She brings up an image of the four of you. It's basically your wanted poster, and it just says like dead or alive. 1 billion Mingasi credits for the return of these four, and it has like your information. And she says, and it's not just about you anymore. And she turns to you, Rex, and she says, it looks like they're looking for your families too. And she kind of like wrinkles her forehead, and she says, so she says, so your homeworlds? And she kind of like looks around, and then looks at Eugene, and then looks at Aurora, and like kind of gives a long look over all of you. She's like, they're not going to be safe for very long. Not once the Imperium shows up. And she kind of sighs frustratedly, and she says, as somebody who's been fighting these bastards her whole life, I mean, we only survived because we're the toughest race in the universe. And she looks at Eugene, and she's like, kind of shrugs, like, it's like, I'm sorry, but your people are in big trouble.
I pull down Quinn's arm, so that way, like, hopefully he's at ear level with me, and I whisper, should I tell her that I'm from Electrotron, or should I just keep that like secret?
Quinn just sort of like just puts his hand over her face, just like.
I'll take that as no.
And so
Look,
she looks at. Sorry, go ahead, Eugene.
When she's like gesturing to me, like, aren't you upset? Like, look, they would have to be crazy to attack the mother slime. It would just turn into more, like, nobody wants more of us. Are you crazy? I'm not worried.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'm not gonna object to more of you.
That's very
I would
sweet of you and
absolutely
also very
object.
concerning.
That cannot happen.
That is a more normal reaction. Thank you, Rex.
She says, as someone who is personally very close to the effects of Mingasi genocide, they will go to severe lengths to get what they want. And I've never been to your disgusting planet, nor do I ever want to. But trust me when I say that if those gold bastards want to do something bad to it, they're going to find a way. Listen, everything that I ever cared about was taken away from us. Well, almost everything. And she looks pointedly at Quinn's groin.
Quinn is not paying any attention to her, because the minute she said that everything was threatened, like, he's been staring at his newly liberated homeworld and is immensely worried for the fact that there is a baby here, and his sister, and Slarp, and that new machine, and all these people who are free, and he is like not even the minute she mentioned that, he stopped even listening to her.
Rex is also ignoring Thuja, and he like puts a hand on Quinn's shoulder, and he's like, we're gonna have to goose chase. We tell him where we are, and we lead him away from the planets.
Yeah, and he looks back at Eugene and is like, we may actually have to tell them we have it.
All right. I mean, that honestly goes along with basically what we were going to do anyway. So we need to make them
Thuja's
chase
eyes
us.
go wide when you're talking about this, and she interrupts. She's like, "No, hold on. They don't know where you are yet. It's only a matter of time. You have to give me the scepter. I can take it back to the shards of Agara. We can reunite the tribes. We can fight them. We're the only ones who can. You have to." And you can hear her voice like cracking a little bit, and that kind of like badass exterior, you can sort of see past it to like she's scared, and you're talking about like using her cultural like heritage, the thing that she believes will resurrect her people, using it as bait to save your homeworld. And you can see for a moment that like a crack in that kind of like invincible exterior.
Rex turns to Thuja and he leans in and he's like, "We have information on the killer of the prince. It was a Mingasi hybrid, probably the first, and we need to find him."
She sighs and she looks at you and she says, "You know, Rex, it's a good thing you're so sexy because you are dumb as shit." And she looks at Quinn and she's like, "You want to meet the hybrid?"
Quinn looks at her and then looks at Rex and is just like,
Rex is giving you like a fucking back me up, bro. Like,
Quinn looks at her and like gives her the cigarette and is like, "I think this is yours."
So you hand it to her. She looks at it and looks at you, and she's like, "Close. Blue isn't really my color." And she says, "Just come with me back to the shard. It'll all make sense there."
And Quinn's like, "How about you take that back and let them know that we know. And if they want to meet, they'll know where to find us. Because so will the rest of the galaxy." And he holds the scepter up and he's like, "We're letting everybody know."
Okay, so what you want her?
Gives Thuja a look like who's fucking stupid now. He's like puffs his chest out, gives her like the nod, like
What up?
Yeah, exactly. My friends are backing me out more than you are, jerk. So she, yeah, I mean, I think she looks at the scepter, and like you're asking her to again like leave empty-handed, and to go back.
She has
home.
a cigarette. She has a cigarette. She's gonna go back and give it back to the guy. That's just as good.
She, yeah, I think she like you see her fist like close around it, and she kind of snarls, and we can see her like she's got a set of like 3 fangs on one side that we can see, and she shakes her head and she's like, "The only reason the rest of the warbands haven't come after you is because I've been speaking in your favor. I'm a huntress. They listen to me, but they're not going to listen forever. This is the last time. You understand? I can't hold them back anymore. And if they come looking for you, they're not going to be as nice as I am." And she's not saying it like a threat. It's just like a statement of fact. Like she's going to go home and be like, they wouldn't give it to me. And there's going to be elements of the warbands that are like, fine, then now we kill them. And they all get their scary looking weapons and they fly out into the universe to get you. But that's okay, because so will a bunch of other horrible people.
Yeah, everyone else is going to look. If they're all looking for us, they'll probably kill each other along the way. We have to draw them away from my planet. I'm not going to give it to her. Sorry.
Well, I guess we do have to consider she's making it sound like maybe she knows the hybrid and is on good terms with the hybrid. And if that's true, then pissing her off might also piss off the hybrid and our chances of being on good terms
I don't
with
give
the
a fuck.
hybrid.
The whole reason we're in this mess is because the hybrid framed us for murdering a fucking prince.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
know
the
there's a
hybrid
You
hybrid.
know
framed
the
us?
hybrid, and like Rex points at Thuja, you better fucking put him in front of me right now.
Damn right. I'm with you, dude. Damn right.
And that's the only way you're getting this scepter, believe you me, sister.
She sighs and she says, "That's not how it works. I can take you to see them, but I can't bring them to see you."
Oh, that's a shame. Guess this scepter's got to stay in his pants. And Rex just pushes it in there.
Why is everyone pushing shit in my pants.
So
That's a shame.
that's twice this episode that
My
someone
pants
has
are
taken
public property.
Exactly.
People are
Yeah.
just
Anyone
all
could
in
just
those
jam their
things.
hand down there.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't
yeah,
have
so
what we want, so we can't give you what you want.
it's like, what if you can't touch my
The bar
friend's
system.
and she says yeah, she's like listen, I know that getting mad at you isn't going to help, and right now I want nothing more than to kill all of you and take that scepter, but and you can see that what she's about to say is like just the worst, like hardest thing possible for her to say, and she's like, you might be right. And she like sighs and she's like,
Rex immediately jumps on it and he's like, I'm sorry, what did you say?
she looks at you and it's halfway between like an angry, she can't make a face that doesn't look angry, but she's trying. And it's like a bit of a smile and she's
I'm
like,
sorry, I
don't,
thought you said I was right.
she's like, don't push me. And she says, if you can keep it safe, fine. I mean, if they found out we had it, and the warbands are not good at secrecy. Once word got out that it was back in the tribes, there'd be bragging. The Mingasi would come for us. Maybe it's best that we stay quiet for now. But if I swear to all the gods that if you let that scepter fall into Mingasi hands, the last thing I do before I die will be kill each and every one of you slowly. And you can't tell if she's threatening you or flirting with you, but there's probably a little of both. And
You are so messed up.
Rex just smirks and he's like, that threat's as common as hello at this point, Toots. And then he just turns around and like starts putting stuff back on the ship.
yeah, and I think that she says, fine, I'm going back to the shards.
Bring us the hybrid.
I'll tell them that you know of their existence and the conversation that we had here, and they can decide what to do from there. I'm also going to tell the warbands that you have the scepter and that you plan to auction it off, and they're going to come and they're going to try to kill you for it. And please don't kill too many of my brothers and sisters. There's so few of us left.
Maybe you should give me the hybrid. They won't have to die.
She shakes her head and she's like, this is a complete shit show. Why couldn't someone competent found that scepter? And
Rex
she's
is
like,
now on the ship and he's just
yeah,
yelling.
you both turn around, like
Yeah.
talking to yourselves, but like shouting over your shoulder.
Hybrid for the
and
scepter.
Yeah. And so she goes back to her ship, and you start getting yours gathered. And I guess the question then becomes, what now? Like, you're gonna put the word out, but where are you gonna go? Where in the universe is safe for you to like hide after you are like, hey everybody, look what we got?
Right.
There's only one place shitty enough and terrible enough. We need to go wherever the hell Eugene is from.
Mother slime. Mother slime.
The worst planet that ever. No one would bother going there. We need to say we have this thing and we are going to trade it, but the auction will be at the mother slime. We just need to lure people to the shittiest place in the galaxy, a place where no one cares what happens.
So I guess let's have a brief conversation about this, Dodger. What does the universe at large know about the Great Slime Mother, right? Like, certainly your people are not. They're not like the Slin, the lizard people of Slin. They're not about the Alexatronians. Like, they're around, right? Like people encounter slimes in their day-to-day lives, right? Like, you're not that rare.
Slimes.
Talk to me about the slime homeworld. Let's learn some things.
So every slime is basically like an offshoot of the mother slime. The mother slime is just a giant slime that has over thousands, millions of years, who even knows, has just grown and grown and grown. It is now the size of a planet and considered a planet, even though it's basically just a giant brain. And all of the slimes that exist on the mother slime are just kind of pieces that have detached themselves but still stay on the mother, because for like most slimes are very simple, like very, very, very simple mentally. So
Mhm.
for a lot of them, it's just kind of like this blind devotion without a lot of focus on what to do, right? Like it's just, we love the mother slime. Everything we do is for the mother slime. And that's life. That's it.
From
right?
from an anthropological standpoint, it's interesting because the native language of the slime people has more letters in it than any other language in the universe. Billions and billions of individual characters.
Right.
Right, and so occasionally to spread the like slime civilization, the slime mother will extrude a blob of slime and fire it out into the universe to like land on another
Basically.
planet to live on its own. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So slime colonies, like slime ghettos in other worlds, are like where the slime has landed and then
Slime
separated
slums.
into its own. Yeah, the
Well,
slime
that's the thing, right? Is that they're so everything about their lives is so simplistic until they detach from the mother.
Right.
And that's when everything, like any slime that you meet out off of the mother slime is a cynical, like shitty.
Right, ruined by their exposure to the world. The universe
Exactly.
is full of sin. The mother is pure, and once you separate from the mother, it's your duty to live among the sinful world. And is there like a returning? Like, are you allowed at some point? Is there like an afterworld where you kind of return to the mother slime and become one with her again?
You always can. The mother slime is always comforting, is always there when you need her. But any like slimes for the most part don't come back. Because even if they were to try, they can't connect with normal slimes anymore.
Yeah, because they're also
normal
simple and
slimes don't.
unprovable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. So you at some point you were part of an extruded colony that was fired out into space and landed somewhere, ostensibly somewhere kind of shitty, because you took on the qualities of this like terrible place, and that's why you are the way that you are.
Right.
Interesting. And if you return home to the mother slime, she would absorb that knowledge. And are you then purged of it? Like, would you become simple like these other slimes, or do you retain your personality if you merge with the slime? The slime
No,
world?
because it's kind of believed that the mother slime has kind of like reached capacity. Like she's basically as big as she can get, which is why smaller slimes are able to exist sort of like separate from her.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to come back, it's not like I would suddenly merge with her.
Mm.
Well,
So
no, once you're gone, you're gone. Once
you're forever separated.
Yeah.
From the mother's light. Oh, that's where we're all assholes.
Right.
You've lost your mother's love.
Yeah, you move further away from God's light every day.
It's kind of dark and awesome. I like it. So they're purer slime back at home. But
they're also like they don't understand so much, right? It's like an ignorance is bliss situation. It's like
right.
you don't know what's happening anywhere else in the universe. Like they don't know anything, right? Like
right, they're all just like placid, kind of like happy morons.
Yeah.
Because they're bathed in the mother's glistening aura, and they get to live on their god all the time, and they're connected to the hive mind. And they probably look at you with a form of sort of pity, where they're like, "Oh, you poor thing, excised from the mother's light. There must be a reason." But
no, because when a colony is shot out, it's believed like you are spreading the love of the mother to a new place. So it's like it's considered a very good thing when slimes are like sent somewhere.
Right, except that they can't process when you return, because you don't bring back the like, you don't lose your information. You don't see anything, and they're still simple, right? So they don't. Is it that they just think that this is how it works, that they're creating other like perfect utopias elsewhere, or do they like what's their reaction when you?
Do slimes come back? Like, how often do slimes return?
I like the idea that it's like
Not really ever.
I like the idea that it's like they think it's basically like you've been chosen as a sacrifice to the mother, and they're just fired out. But like then they just become like their own slime and just live their lives. And then the slimes at home don't realize that they're surviving.
Well, it's just so normal for the mother to produce new slimes, right? So I think like this idea of slimes leaving the mother in their minds is almost like, oh, this is so great because the mother gets to go to new places. Right, like we're all a piece of the mother, and this way the mother gets to spread her light all over the place, right? But what they don't realize is that the second
spill
that
her
you're
mighty
detached,
dew into the universe.
Exactly, but the second that you're detached, it's like everything fucking goes downhill because you learn what the universe is actually like, depending on where you land.
Right. Yeah. Having
So-
having.
So the
actual
mother's
context.
just selfishly discharging and doesn't give a fuck about anyone else, basically.
That's all.
Oh yeah,
that's-
yeah. Like I imagine that the real truth of it is that this great mother is just like one big blind,
She's just a big
unthinking
blind singular
protozoa.
existence.
Yeah, right. Like just
Yeah.
all she exists to do is eat and to like emit more slime. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I guess that's the thing. You say when we cut back to the actual like fiction of the game, you say we have to go to the one place no one would ever think to go. We're the only place we can be safe, and like the slime homeworld. And what I guess I want to get your reaction. Then I want to cut to something that you're not present for before we go to break. So what does Eugene say when you do that?
He just says no.
You're like, no, not happening. No.
Next plan. What's the next plan?
So
what's plan B?
while the group of you start talking about that, that sound fades down and is replaced by the like beeping and kind of whirring sounds that Sparky makes all the time. And we pan over to Sparky and Aurora. You're doing something else, like you're sitting on the ship, or you're working on like getting the engines prepped for launch, but you're not paying attention to Sparky. He's like behind you, and we can see his little ears are up, and his tail is like blinking, the little transmitter tail. And we fade from that shot of him. We crossfade to a shot of the it's obviously Mingasi Imperium like locale. It's a huge white marble room with these enormous columns and a big deep red carpet. There's a wooden hover table in the middle of it, like a war table with all these big seats around it. And the room is empty except for Duke Mako Astara and another entity. So we see Duke Mako. And we see him sitting looking at a hologram, and the hologram is being projected from this device on the table that is designed to look so that we could at a glance recognize that it's the same technology that Sparky is made of. We see behind him an Alaxatronian like ambassador, so like a kind of faceless, like an android. And he's looking at this hologram, and the hologram is displaying basically the like conversation that happened in the library. So it's showing the group of you talking to the librarian and talking about the hybrid and all of this stuff. And Mako turns, and we see him holding something, and he kind of shakes it accusatorily at the Alaxatronian, the ambassador, and he says, I thought you told me this problem was dealt with. And he slams the thing down on the table. And when he takes his hand away, we can see it's a slightly like pitted, kind of old looking metal, like a gold plate. And anyone who is like any audience member who is like a NASA nerd or like a space nerd would recognize it's the Voyager 1, the like gold plate with the little like human figures on it and the symbol of the universe. And he like slams it on the table accusatorily, and he's like, I thought you said this problem was dealt with. And then he stares angrily back at the hologram, and we see it in the reflection of his like perfect eyes as we fade out to break.
Damn.
So stick around. We got two more hours of RollPlay Nebula Jazz coming at you after the break. Don't go anywhere.